4-11 this year. Right. All right, Chris Sale is the only reliable starter that the Red Sox have at this point. And I was talking to my Mook friend Croce the other day about this. David Price, nobody knows what they're going to get. They're paying the guy like $31 million a year, and he's getting into fights with Dennis Eckersley on the team plane. I mean, they had what was described as an altercation,
right,
which I guess is a non-physical fight.
It means they scream at each other.
But David Price clearly hates being in Boston. Clearly hates it. All right, the media is on the guy all the time.
Well, he doesn't like the tea? Come on.
The media is on him all the time. And that's the Boston media. Never mind if he was in New York. But this guy, he has basically told the Boston media he will not talk to them, except about the game. That's all he wants to talk to them about. But then if he loses, they just crush him.
Well, they should.
So it's all gotten in his head. It's turned him into a pretty average pitcher. And the Red Sox, between Chris Sale, who, like I said, he's a Cy Young worthy guy, right, again for the Red Sox. But then Price and Porcello are supposed to be their top three guys, and that's supposed to be the three guys that get them to deep into the playoffs. Right now, two of those guys aren't pitching very well. So, the Red Sox have been scoring a lot of runs. Let's put it that way.
That's all they need right now. We're going to take a break right now. You're listening to From the Press Box here on 90.3 WHPC, streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC. The show later will be up on Spreaker, which connects to iTunes. So if you have iTunes or Spreaker, you can either hear the show again or listen to some of our other shows. We put up a lot of our shows where we have interviews with people. Lots of people. I didn't realize we've interviewed a lot of people.
Like Hal Bach.
Hal Bach.
Who just joined the Facebook Live chat.
And
doing, Hal Bach?
Hopefully next week we're going to have Hal on. We have to talk to him, actually.
Yeah. Hal, we want you back on the show.
We're going to have he has a new book out, so we'll have him back on. It's either next week or the week after. Anyway, we're going to take a break. 516-572-7440 if you'd like to make a suggestion. We'd love a suggestion. If you'd like to make a comment or if you have a question. What?
Comment or question.
Well, yeah, I said suggestion as I was doing a jock show.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back right after this.
Success, noun, the fact of getting or receiving wealth, respect, or fame.
Succeed, verb, to do what you are trying to do.
Success story, noun, a successful person or thing, such as someone or something that has achieved a goal.
Hi, I'm Bill Horan, the host of The Secrets of Success, and I invite you to do more than just read a dictionary to learn about success. If you want to achieve your goals in life, listen to the tips, secrets, strategies, and habits of some of the world's most successful people, and hear about the obstacles they had to overcome to attain their dreams. Start your own journey to success. Tune in to The Secrets of Success, Wednesday afternoons at 4 and Sunday mornings at 7:30 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Do you like video games, movies, comics, action figures, anything nerdy? Well, have I got a deal for you. Tune in to 90.3 WHPC. Should I do that again?
Just keep going. Just continue.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. for the only radio show that covers all things nerd culture with the two most fantastic hosts in all of the galaxy, Colton Murray and Justin Greenberg. This show is out of this world galaxy. Come on down. Tune in Mondays at 3 p.m. Hey, why did my music stop? I can't do this acting without my music.
The promo's over. Stop talking. Just play the stupid tagline.
Nerdvana, Mondays at 3 p.m.
Cut it and print it. I need an aspirin.
.3 WHPC. Talking sports on From the Press Box. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard.
Well, ant music.
Ant music. Goody two-shoes. Let's talk about the Mets, brother.
Briefly.
Yeah, briefly is probably better. But let's start off with the heartbreak for many Met fans, including myself, is Big Sexy is not coming back to the Mets, at least not right now. Maybe...
Can't say I blame him.
Well, I don't know. What happened? Did the Mets not offer him anything? It wasn't about money because he's getting his money from the Braves. Did the Mets say to him, well, we're not sure what we're going to do with you. You're going to be a relief pitcher. He wants to be a starting pitcher. Mets right now, the pitching is not what it should be. It'd be nice. To bring him back, even if you find out after 3 starts that he has no arm left, wouldn't really, hurt you as a team. And why they didn't go after him more is something I don't get. That he ends up.
You're going in the wrong direction, brother.
What?
The Mets. What would he have to play for?
The Mets?
The Mets.
For Colon?
Yeah.
Colon wants to beat Juan Marichal's record for Dominican players for most wins.
And how does he do that on a team that's 8 games below 500?
Because
that has trouble winning games and scoring runs.
Because he can pitch still. I get not this season. He had a bad season so far, but I think it was partly because he was in Atlanta.
Here's what you need to know.
Atlanta was horrible. Let's be honest.
Here's what you need to know.
Even though they're ahead of the Mets right now.
Bartolo Colon went to the Twins, and I don't know this for a fact because it was never stated, and I have not seen a quote from Bartolo Colon on the subject. But Bartolo Colon went to the Twins because, number one, the Twins need a starting pitcher.
They do.
Number two, the Twins are
game and a
by
half
last, I think it was 2.5.
It was a game and a half. I know that.
All right. Well, if it's now a game and a half, behind Cleveland Indians in the AL Central. All right. The Mets, on the other hand, are 12 games behind the Washington Nationals and 10.5 games out of a wild card spot. So Bartolo Colon went to the place where he could make the postseason. And that place is not with the New York Mets.
But he wants the wins.
Like I said,
will the Twins pitch him every fifth game?
I think he has more of a chance to start with the Twins than he does with the Mets at this point. Whose place is he going to take in the rotation for the Mets?
I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to take Seth Lugo out of the rotation. Right now they have DeGrom, they have Wheeler, they have Lugo, they have Matz, and I don't know who the 5th starter is for the Mets. But Harvey should be back relatively soon, I hope.
You hope. You hope it's the right word.
Syndergaard is still a ways away. But, the Mets have starting pitchers coming back.
They had talked about making Colon the relief guy.
Well, and again, that's what there's nothing in that for him. Like you said, if he wants to beat Juan Marichal's record, I forget, what is it, Dominican Republic, I think it is?
Yeah.
So, but if he wants to get that, starting would be his best way of doing it. If you're a relief pitcher, wins it's a maybe at any point. And you have to, not only that, but you have to get into a lot of games where your team is losing. So he wouldn't even be pitching in wins and pitching in high-leverage situations, as baseball people like to call them. He would be coming into games where the Twins were losing, let's say, 4-3 or 3-1 or whatever, because they would have to come back to win games. Otherwise, he's not going to get any wins. So from that standpoint and the standpoint of, well, here's a team that's going to be in a playoff race, the Twins seemed like the best place for him to be. So he's going to go to the minor leagues. He'll probably take a couple of starts with the Twins AAA team, and then they'll evaluate him and see, all right, where is he? Because his ERA this season was like 8-something. It was ridiculously bad.
8.14.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So, there was no way the Braves could keep him because he was getting crushed every game. So they had to let him go.
I forgot Colon was a Yankee in 2011.
Yeah, he helped. He was a pretty good pitcher back then.
He's never won a World Series ring.
Well, that's another reason why not to go to the Mets. I know Met fans wanted the reunion and wanted Big Sexy back in the clubhouse.
Well,
but there was
something going on.
But there was no reason for him to go to the Mets. And you have to remember, he's getting his money no matter what. So for him, he has to go back to the best situation for him. And I'm sorry, the Mets were not the best situation.
No, they weren't.
The Twins,
I take that back. I think they could have been. The Twins are...
The Mets are not a contending team.
Well...
Let's face it. The Mets right now, they're in sell mode. And they need to look at what they can do with the players they have. And we talked about this, I think, last week. There's not a lot on that roster that is going to help them retool for the future. I think they can get a halfway decent prospect for Jay Bruce. They're not going to get elite prospects for anybody they have.
No, they're getting nothing for nothing.
But that's my point. Guys like Granderson are free agents after the season. Addison Reed probably will bring back a decent piece if they decide to trade him. But I mean, he's not even such a reliable bullpen arm. Anderson Reed is a pretty good reliever, but he's still one of those guys that gives you a heart attack pretty much every time he goes out there. So from that standpoint, a lot of the chips that the Mets have won't bring back huge hauls. Last year the Yankees had two elite relief pitchers in Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman, and they had a very good outfielder in Carlos Beltran. And those three guys brought back a huge haul. The Mets don't even have one guy who's even close to that.
No, the Mets, it's going to be tough. It's a tough time for the Mets, and worse time for Met fans.
But that's where the Mets are right now.
I know.
They're not. I mean, let's face it, Met fans. Any Met fan who has a delusion that you're coming back this year and when Syndergaard comes back that you're going to start blowing away teams in the National League, like the old saying goes, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Because that's not happening.
Just to let you know, Bartolo has never won a World Series. He was on the Cleveland team in 1997 where they lost.
They lost in the World Series.
Yeah, and
that was that year that
and of
they
course
got lucky
the
and
Mets
beat the Yankees.
in 2015. He was there too, but nothing happened.
Well, at least he pitched in a couple of World Series.
And he was on Boston the year after they won their second World Series, in 2008.
Yes.
Well, they won the World Series in 2007, but he joined them in 2000.
So obviously, though, the Twins are hoping that Colon has something left in the tank, and he can be that pitcher he was for the Mets for these last couple of years.
Yes,
and give them some, and it's a gamble that's worth taking for them.
Oh, definitely.
And this way, if Colon, let's say he fails with the Twins, maybe the Mets will pick him up after that, because then he'll be at a point where it's either retire or can I get a team to at least get me through the end of the season, and that would be the Mets.
That would be definitely the Mets. And who knows? Maybe someone signs him for $3 million next year, depending on
highly after this season. Unless he redeems himself in these last few months, he's not getting it. He's not getting any kind of deal next year. Nobody wants a 44-year-old pitcher. Yeah. That's just a fact.
He can try.
Sorry, Bartolo, but let's put it this way. Yeah, he can try, but it would be highly unlikely unless he just signed like a minor league deal with a team and tried to make a team out of spring training. But he'd have to have a great spring.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because I saw some of the guys that the Padres signed this year, and they gave a bunch of retread guys under $2 million each to sign, and these guys were just trying to salvage their careers. And like a guy like Trevor Cahill has done that this season, and he's now a trade piece for the Padres. So they pay a retread $1.75 million, and now maybe they can get a decent minor leaguer out of it. So it actually makes decent business sense for a team if you know you're not going to contend, which obviously the Padres were not going to this year. So, all right, fine. Now you can get a decent prospect. And in baseball terms, if you can pay under $2 million for a decent prospect, there's not a team out there that wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's all it's all kind of a balancing act in some ways. It's like, all right, well, if we get this guy and he can do something for us, we can move him, and I mean that's how teams think. So
516-572-7440 if you'd like to make a comment or have a question. They're signing free agent contracts in the NBA, my brother, and to be honest with you, the money is just, I don't want to say too much because the players should get as well as they can, but it gets to the point where there's a disconnect between what's real and what's...
It's a little ludicrous.
What might be.
As Mike Tyson would say.
It is. I mean, James Harden.
Good player. Great player.
Is he worth $228 million over 6 years?
Probably.
No.
Probably.
No.
Yeah, well, you're using your own arbitrary...
yes, I am.
Let's put it this way. This is how I think about this stuff. And I'm going to sit here and say right off the top, $40 million for an athlete per season is insane. All right, I'm not going to sit here and say that's not insane because it is insane. But if you look at a player like a Steph Curry, who a week or two ago signed a contract 5 years for $201 million, so just over $40 million a year,
deserves every bit of it. Now
we have James Harden, who just signed an extension that will make his contract worth 6 years for $228 million. Now, also, I read last night, Russell Westbrook is the next name on the horizon because he can also get a Supermax deal. And because of the percentages involved in the contract from his previous contract, he could wind up signing a deal that would make his next 6